back to the Let's Keep It Real podcast. It's your girl, Abiola-Makanjuola, and as a result of what it is that I do, people are able to live the life that they were truly created for by looking within. How are you doing? It's been about 2 weeks, I think, since I last put out an episode, and the truth is I went to Nigeria. One of my sisters got married, and it was late. It was late. It was good. It was such a good time. I had such a good time. Um, yeah. So I just wanted to come back on today and just have a chit chat as per usual. So story time. Today I wanted to talk about choosing yourself and why sometimes it's hard. So story time. I recently, well, not recent, however, some ex fling kind of like showed up, and I got lost. I got caught up in the moment. I'm not going to talk about who. I'm not going to go into details about what the situation was, but it was just a situationship that resurfaced and was looking like a real deal, was looking like a real thing. And, I got caught up in the moment of things, and, I started to imagine life with this person, knowing fully well that where we are right now in our lives in this present time, it's not something that would have been possible. But anyways, probably going on for maybe about a few months, not too long. But it got to the point where that decision with regards to how do we move forward had to be made, and moving forward wasn't something that was feasible. Moving forward wasn't something that made sense. So the only option was to just cut ties and just be like, peace. And I found myself taking it very hard, I found myself not taking it very easy. And I went into a period of mourning. I was crying, cried to my family members, and I was like, oh my God, why me? Why does it have to be me? I'm laughing now, but thinking about it, I just felt like I just had this feeling of like, why does it have to be me? Why is it always me? Why can't things work out for me? Why is it always different when it comes to my case? I was just feeling this pity party, thinking about how, maybe if I had done XYZ, or if I had done things differently prior to now, maybe we would have ended up together. I was just thinking all of these scenarios, telling myself all of these stories, and beating myself up yet again. It took me about 2 days to mourn, and in that time I was beating myself up. I was just like, oh my goodness, if I had done things differently, maybe it would have turned out differently. Maybe we would not be here. Maybe we would have been able to move forward, and we'll not be in this situation where we literally have to just stay away from each other because there's just like, it's just not feasible to be able to move on. But I was just, like on the second day, I was just like, or the third day, like something just snapped in my head, and I was just like, Biola, what the hell? Like, what's going on? Because I had been beating myself up, and then I just remembered how I found myself in the same situation like 2 years ago, which is when my ex-husband came back into the picture, and I was beating myself up, blaming myself for all the things that I had done and all the things that I could have done better. Basically just, allowing myself be the doormat and just saying yes, just because I'm like, oh, just take me back. I just want you to take me back. I just want to prove myself and say that, yes, we're meant to be together, and I'm sorry for whatever it is that I did. And I was just like, girl, this is the same thing showing up again, but in a different form. You can't make the same mistake, because at the end of the day, both of you had a chance. Both of you screwed things up prior to now, and it's just not the right time. Maybe down the line, maybe down, in the future, maybe at some point, maybe it's a possibility, maybe, and who knows, maybe not, and it's okay. But yeah, I just it just became apparent to me that sometimes it's so hard, like in the moment, in the heat of the moment, or in the moment, in that being in that emotional state, is so hard to choose yourself. It's so hard to say no to the thing that it's not going to help you move forward, or it's not going to add to the quality of the life that you're building, or it's not going to add values to the life that you're building. It's so hard. In that moment, you just want to say yes for the time being, for what it is that you want to enjoy in that moment, for what it is that you think is going to benefit you in that moment. But then again, after some time, it's the emotions wear off, and it becomes apparent that there was really nothing there. There was no substance to whatever it is that you were beating yourself so much up for. There's no substance to this thing that you are trying to create. Like, it is just what it is. Like, it is what it is. You know what I mean? I had to come to terms with that. And I just wanted to share that story. Sometimes for me, it's just different lessons from that story. First things first, sometimes we think that like that situation, or we think like a situation is going to be the death of us, and in that moment, if we don't choose otherwise, or if we don't even, not even in that moment, it's not even about making a choice. Sometimes it's just about just being still and just going through the motions, as opposed to making a decision. Because sometimes we think like we have to make a decision, like it has to be now. Sometimes it's about just being still in that moment and just going through whatever it is that we're feeling, and just letting it come. And I know it's painful, I know it's not easy, I know it's not like to be like, it's almost like you're in pain, but it's not like, it's not like it's hurting, but it's not physical pain like somebody pinched your body, but it's hurting your heart. It's like it's a discomfort. It's like your mind, your soul, like your mind, not even your soul, because I believe your soul is just in a place where it's like, girl, you're good, but then your mind is just racing, and it's just telling you different stories, and you're thinking of different scenarios, and you're trying to like come up with different reasons, and trying to like, just tell yourself, okay, maybe if I do this, or maybe if I do that. So sometimes it's about just being still in that moment, and just allowing yourself breathe, and just gathering your thoughts, and just be in that moment, is all I'm saying. Sometimes it's saying no, choosing yourself when even though it's hard, even though it's difficult, even though it's not the easiest thing to do. Because again, for me, it actually like, so I mourned the first day, Saturday, no, actually Friday. I started mourning on Friday, on Saturday, Sunday, Monday, so 4 days, not even 2 days. But on Monday, I actually spoke to two of my sisters, and when I spoke to my other sister, I was like, then it dawned on me, and I was just like, this is the same situation repeating itself in a different form. And I was like, why am I beating myself up so much for a situation that I wasn't the only person that created or contributed to making it what it is today. I will take responsibility for the role that I played. I will learn the lessons, but then I'm not going to sit down and beat myself up and be like, this is without this situation, I'm gone. Without this situation, there's no Biola. No, I'm not going to do that. Because again, this is the same situation that happened in 2019 that's showing up in a different way, in a different form. So for me, it took having to talk to somebody else about it. And all of a sudden, I now became the spectator. I wasn't in the situation anymore. I was now listening from a third party perspective, and I'm like listening to the things that I'm saying to myself, and I'm like hearing myself, and I'm just like, it's like my soul was in a different space, and my body was in a different space, and my body was talking, and my soul was just checking out, and I'm just listening to what it is that my body was saying. And it's like, do you understand what you're saying? Like, can you hear yourself? So sometimes it takes having to have a conversation with somebody else about the situation. But the most important thing that I learned from that situation, which I want to share today, is being able to choose yourself. And I know that it's hard. I know that it's super, super hard. I know it's not the easiest thing to do, because I know sometimes in the moment you just want that gratification. You just want that feeling of being loved. You want that feeling of being accepted. You want that feeling of belonging. I do understand it. It all makes sense. And for me, again, another thing is maybe because I also felt like I'm in a season of being single, and sometimes being single, being a single mother, sometimes you just feel this loneliness and you just want somebody to just love upon you. You just want somebody to just be there for you. You just want somebody to just cuddle. You just want somebody to just tell you sweet things. You just want somebody to just, just be there. But then again, it doesn't last. It doesn't last. It's not going to last. It's not going to be a it's not going to be something of quality. It's just something that's there for the time being, and then when it's not convenient for both parties to be together anymore, you go apart, and you're still going to go through that heartbreak or whatever it is that you're going to go through, just because it's not something that's of quality. It's not something that has a strong foundation, if I'm making sense. So for me, I really had to, like, again, it took me having to talk to two of my sisters. The first time I spoke to one of my sisters, she told me what she told me, but then I was just like, okay, I still continue crying. It didn't make sense to me. Then the second time I spoke to another sister, that was when it really, like, I was just like, and I think it was also maybe because it was text messages versus actually like having a conversation, like talking. Because my first sister that I spoke to, I just texted her. The second one that I spoke to, we actually spoke over the phone, and I was crying and everything. And I think it allowed me see myself from a different perspective, and it allowed me listen to the things that I was saying. And that's when I snapped out of it, and I was just like, girl, you didn't choose yourself prior, and this is what landed you in the situation that you're in now. And this is a similar situation showing up again, and it's time to choose yourself. I know that you would want to be with somebody. I know that you would want that companionship, you want that partnership. I know that you would not want to be raising your boys by yourself right now. I know that you would want to have somebody to help you. I know that you would want to, just feel loved, and feel, just be in the arms of somebody. I know all of that stuff. However, you do not just want anybody. You do not just want to give that to anybody. You just don't want to open yourself to just anybody to coming into your life and taking advantage of you, or taking advantage of whatever it is that you're going through right now. It's not the easiest thing, to live the life that you're currently living, but I am way more solid and more grounded when I know that I'm not settling, or I'm not giving myself up because of what I stand to gain because of the short-term gain, if that makes sense. And not to say that there's not situations where the short-term gain, like there's not situations where in the short amount of time that you're with the person, or you're doing whatever it is that you're doing, there's no gain. For me and where I'm in my life right now, I know that's not something that I desire. I know that's not a situation that I want to put myself in, because it's just going to add, it's not going to add value to what it is or who it is that I am, or the woman that I'm becoming, or the things that I'm building. So why put myself in that situation in the first place? Why go against myself, go against my values, go against what it is that I know, who I know myself to be, in order for that short-term validation or gratification, that instant gratification that's going to wear off, because it's all emotions. Because at the end of the day, when push comes to shove, I'm not going to be able to be with this person in the way that I want to be with this person. I'm not going to be able to spend time with this person in the way that I want to spend time with this person. I'm not going to be able to move forward in my relationship with this person in the way that I want to, in the way that I would like for it to happen. So why even start in the first place when I know that those things are not going to materialize in the way that I desire for them to materialize? Yeah, I know it's so hard. Choosing yourself, it's so hard. But I just wanted to let you know, and I just wanted to encourage somebody out there and just let you know that, like, it might be the hardest thing, it might be the most difficult thing, it might be the toughest thing right now in this season. You might feel like you're waiting for days on end for something to happen. You might feel like you're waiting days on end for that money to kick into your bank account, or for that job to call you, or for that man to, for you to find that partner, for you to find that person, for you to just be that person that you're desiring to be. But I just wanted to encourage you and just let you know that delay is not denial. In this season of waiting, in this time of waiting, it's important to find things that bring you joy. Like, date yourself, fall in love with yourself again. And I was so happy that I got that clarity, because it allowed me to really dig deep and to really, like, be intentional about my life. And I have another chance at building my life again. All of the things that I have done, all of the mistakes that I have made, I have another chance to be able to reflect and look at the things that I have done, right? Look at the things that I haven't done to the best of my ability, and, you know, begin to design my life again, all over again. It gave me that clarity to be able to just make intentional choices and just declare and decree who and the woman that God has created me to be, and to be able to tap into that. It gave me the clarity to be able to make intentional choices with regards to how I choose to raise my boys, and how I just, you know, want to live my life, and, you know, who I want to become. And I just wanted to come on here and I just wanted to encourage somebody. I just wanted to share this story to just say that, like, choosing yourself is hard, but it's the best thing that you could do for yourself. And then also today I was listening to you know, Pastor Kim, Limitless Church online, and, you know, she kind of touched about, like, the sermon today was also touching, just, you know, touching on fighting battles, how the same things will show up, but it will show up in different forms, and you have to be able to fight them in different ways. You have to be able to understand and acknowledge that the battle that you were fighting, or that battle that you were fighting 5 years ago that has shown up now, you fight it differently now because you're a different person. You have different tools. You've grown. Your stories are different. You have a better relationship with God. You're able to fight it. You have the strength to be able to fight it now, and it doesn't even have to take as long, because the first time it happened, you might not have had those tools. You might not have had the clarity. Like for me, I didn't have the clarity. All I was just doing was beating myself up and just crying up and down, and talking to everybody who cared to listen. Oh my God, he left me. Oh my God, he did this. Oh my God, he did that. To now where it's like, yes, I did talk to people, but it took me like literally 4 days to be like, girl, like, there's so much ahead of you. That's this person, you and this person not being together is not the end of the world. Like, there's so many things out there for you to explore. There's so many places for you to see. There's so many opportunities that you can tap into. There's so much amazingness that's created for you, that this person or this situation is not the end of your world. Like, you're going to look back and you're going to be like, thank God it did not work out, because see where you are today, see who you're with today, see how your life is tomorrow. You know what I mean? So yeah, I just wanted to come on here and I just wanted to share that story, and just encourage somebody who's listening that choose yourself. I know that it's hard. I'm not going to sit down here and say it's not hard or it's the easiest thing to do, because like I said, in a moment you just want to choose that thing, that short-term gratification, that validation. You just want to make yourself feel good, but it's just all emotions, and when those emotions wear off, you're just going to be left with yourself, and you're going to be like, oh man, I wish, you know. And that's not something cool to say. I wish I had done things differently. I found myself saying that, and I desire not to say that as much. I want to be able to reduce the amount of times that I say that, and I want to be more intentional with the choices that I make, and just to know that I am living with purpose, with intention. I'm living the life that God has designed for me. I am a living manifestation of the story that God has written when he created me in my mother's womb. But anyways, if any of this resonates with you, I'd like for you to reach out, and I'd like for you to let's have a conversation. Remember, it's a dialogue, not a monologue, so I'd like to have a conversation with you. Thank you very much for listening, and I'll catch you on the next episode. Toodles.